probably the greatest upset of relationships in modern time is enmeshment. For all the relationships I've had and all the trouble I've had within them, they have all centered around and been interfered with and brought to the relationship, usually by an enmeshment. This is one of the fruits of the broken family, single father, single mother epidemic that is separating parents from raising their children the way that they should. And now we're at a time where people are having children without fathers or without mothers. They're just voluntarily deciding to have a child as a single parent, and this is causing tremendous dysfunction in the lives of the people that are being raised by them. Now, it's an 80% unsuccess rate, so there's 20% that do make it by statistics, but there's an 80% rate of those who don't. Now, you can decide what that means to you. You can object to that. You can jump up and down, scream and shout. You can say that you're in the 20%, but the fruit tells. The fruit will show what the actual reality of that is, and it really doesn't matter to me. Once your children are at an adult age, it's almost too late to try and correct anything or make anything substantial in a way in which is going to bring fruit. Usually by the time they hit their 20s and things, if they're enmeshed, they will start to go down the roads of either right or wrong, or right and wrong. There'll usually be a bend, some bend towards evil, be it by passivity and overdependence, or just by conscious choices that lead to trouble and harm and other stuff like that that brings these people into trouble. This trouble usually has a ripple effect, and the parent will enable it, justify it, very rarely try and challenge it, because all the challenges that have been made previous as these people were growing up fell on deaf ears, usually by way of one side of the parenting being absent. And the fact of the matter is, it's not a matter of whether these are good or bad people. You don't get mixed up with bad people. If you've had a relationship with a single mother as a man, or a single father as a woman, and run into the enmeshment issues that preside within the lives of these people before you turn up, you'll see that it's much deeper underneath the surface than what it appears to be on the surface. It's very well hidden. It's a language of silence. It's an emotional, spiritual language that these two people build between each other to form and regulate their lives between each other, sort of sabotaging the possibilities of real normality within their relationships. And you'll find, if you look up Ken Adams on YouTube, he's an expert on it all. Kenneth Adams. I've lived it, so I don't care about the books and that, although I do get a lot from them. To live it and to see it and to try and navigate it for years and years, and to see how vulnerable and worthless really you are up against enmeshment and the bonds that these people have between daughter-father, daughter-mother. I'm not talking about healthy, well-rounded relationships that people have within a normal structure. I'm talking about extra maternal boundaries that have been crossed that lead to unhealthy aspects and characteristics, build unhealthy characteristics in the lives of the people that are doing this. Now, some of the things that you'll experience when you wind up in one of these relationships is, or are, you're going to sense a void, a distance, after a month or so. What normally happens is these people come into your life, they've had a intimate drought or a sexual drought, you've come along, you're an opportunity, and I wouldn't say at that point that genuineness is not there. Hank! Here we go, the stupid dog. Hank! Here he comes. I wouldn't say that the genuineness doesn't appear to be there on the surface, but these people have regulated themselves, possibly after long relationships, to stand at a distance in the invisible. So they'll be there in the physical, but they'll be standing at a distance in the physical, in the spiritual and emotional, and you'll sense this void. And you might bring it up, and they'll try and fill the void, but it'll only be temporal, because their psychological structure now has embedded itself intimately, hopefully sexlessly, but with all the tenets of a sexual relationship without the sex within the enmeshment. And different cultures go to different extremes to protect this and maintain this, and make sure that it's not interfered with. Come on, mate. Hank. Hey. Let's go, please. Come on. Hey. Geez, a mongrel of a dog, this dog. Little mongrel. Come on. It'll have all the tenets of a relationship without sex. And you'll see friends at this level. You'll see friends that are very close, and they stroke each other's egos and feed each other's emotions. And it's all enmeshed. It's all unhealthy. It's not helping anything. It's not producing anything. It's all enmeshed. And a lot of the times these people, as they get older, their relationships fade and dwindle because they've violated one another. And somehow or other that does catch up with the enmeshed people. They do sense the violation, the intrusion. It does lead to times of estrangement. You'll see these people fall out one minute and then they're close to next. It's very hard to keep up with. It's sorely dysfunctional. And when you're in it, you're going to sense these voids. You're going to battle with distance in the relationship. They're going to find ways of creating distance so that they can keep the need to be in the enmeshment supplied. They're going to become, in many ways, try and condition you and entrain you to give space to the time that they need in their enmeshment. But if you stay in it, you will suffer trauma. You will be tormented and find yourself breaking down. And as you sense these voids, and these are actually red flags for you to get out, my best advice to you would be to detach. according to the elements of which you feel neglected. Start to bring yourself back to yourself so that you don't feel abused. And when you're strong enough to be able to be honest enough to say to this person, I can't do this anymore, leave the relationship, come back to yourself, re-establish yourself with yourself, move on, and never contact that person again unless you have children and you have to down that avenue.